Hello, and thank you for buying the 2020 eConsulting Smart Automated Website. When you start with the website, we'll have a temporary domain that you guys can use to put all your information in, which you should have already received. And a good tip to know is now and moving forward, all you have to do to get to your login and your kind of back-end page is if you do a / on your domain, in for internal. We click on enter, and here we are. So we see the website manager, website to-dos, you can audit the bands and menu, and you have set up facts. And down here you've got a link to your logo and icon, and a link to your Google My Business, and a photo template. So let's get started on the website manager. Once you're logged in, you'll see kind of just a landing page here, and we're going to start with the home page. Most of the time when you're entering in content, you're going to be putting that information in here and also in the template variables. On the home page, the template variables powers a lot for the website. So let's scroll through and make these changes. So of course you're going to want to update your address, your telephone number, text-capable telephone number, and put in when you started your business. And here we're going to update the logo. So we're going to click here, and just like a computer, you can have all your files scattered on your desktop, or you can organize them into folders. That's entirely up to you. I do recommend trying to keep it organized to the best of your ability. So we're going to update the logo. So we're going to upload it into the logo folder. There's two ways you can do that. If you right click here, you can upload here, or you can just click on this upload icon. So we will select the logo that we want to use, hit open, and double click it to select, and now that logo is there. The icon image is what appears in the corner here on your website. You can say that you accept reservations or you don't. Usually we'll put these latitude and longitude codes in for you. And let's scroll back up. On the events, you can choose events can be a few things. Events can be one-time events or weekly events. So maybe you do a Taco Tuesday, or maybe you have a special drink or food option, or maybe it's a karaoke night that happens once a month. Either way, this is kind of the layout for your events. You can do a simple layout or have it include an image. The menu setup, we can choose our cuisine here. And depending on, usually we'll have the menu set up for you, but you can change kind of the way it lays out. We usually prefer to have the collapsing menu image. And here you're going to put your dinner hours if applicable, lunch hours if applicable, breakfast hours again if applicable. Here you can write kind of disclaimers about your vegetarian vegan menu or popular menu. And here's where you can update the tips, which will appear when someone's looking at your menu in a mobile view, kind of guides them through how to navigate on your menu. And then you can choose here what color that menu tip is going to look like. Probably best just to show that to you. So let's do that. Give me a second. So we'll go into mobile view here. And let's look at it like so. And this is that thing I was telling you about. So let's go back to here. So here's the little tip message and the color that we've chosen, right? And you'll also see that the lunch menu is popped out because it is currently between 11:30 and 4 o'clock. All right, now for reviews. This is something that you guys can set up a QR code and put like tents or little tent fold-outs on your table, or you can, however you want to get that QR code out there in your business. You can have the QR code link right to a page that is /QR. Whoop. And when you go there, you land on this page. We're glad you're here. You can go to the menu, events, live music, or depending on how your business is set up. And then you go to this review us section. Here they can choose that their experience was great or not bad. If it goes to great, you can put in the link for Google reviews. And this tells you exactly how you can pull that link off of your profile. So you'd paste that into here, and when they click on great, it takes you right to your leave a review on Google Business. If they choose not bad, it takes you to this page, and this is where you would actually add all your information. You'd have a manager's contact, their title. You would have a greeting here saying, hey, we always want the best service or the best experience. Please reach out to me anytime. You do a text capable telephone number here, your email, and again, the link to post reviews. We recommend doing a Google telephone number. And with that, you can have that email or text you when those messages come in, but it gives you a little privacy barrier by having that instead of your actual telephone number. That's entirely up to you. Again, all that information will land up on this page. All right, moving on to photos. Here you can put your main photo, and you can have a second, third, and fourth photo. Again, it's important that you do JPEG or PNG photos. And when you're adding your images here, again, you go to your upload section and we go to images, and here we can do a hero, band. We can make new folders, keep it organized, or we can just scatter them in, however you guys prefer. The color scheme, this is a little more advanced, but essentially you can control the whole color scheme of the website. And doing that, you can write a hex code, which is this little hash in the color, or you can type green or black, or and once you put that all in here and save it, then you'll see that color change on your website. A good tip is on all of these things, if you mouse over, you see a little set to default. So if you want to play around with this, and let's say we go black here and I hit save, if I refresh my website, you'll see that the website is a black background. And so you can kind of get crazy with stuff, and you can always come back to, let's have a look. So you can go through and change this the way you want to make it a unique looking website. And if you ever want to reset back to what it was, the default here, you just click on that and everything will go back to where it was. So save, refresh, and voila. The About Us section, let's talk about that. First off, the website is kind of in sections. This section here is, we'll get out of the mobile view. This section here is kind of your landing spot. So we're on the home page. So this would be your main home section where you could have a video and a photo. And then these are your calls to action here. And you can see, let's see, calls to action, live music, food and drink. So essentially with here, you can send someone to a particular part of your website. This could be contact us or whatever makes sense to you. And then moving down, we have the About Us section. And you have a summary of your business here. And then you have the option to have additional calls to action here. So let me show you how that works. If we go to the settings down here, we can choose calls to action, or we can do clean. If I do clean here and hit refresh, this just now goes to About Us, and that's it. And it takes away those other parts. Or we can go into the calls to action, which we just had, or we can do highlight reviews. All right, so let's go back to what we had before. So we're gonna do the calls to action, hit save, and we'll refresh here. And it's always best to double check your work, because you can always think you did something right, and if you don't look at it, you may not notice until a customer tells you. So always double check your work. All right, so calls to action, here we can put our time zone. Another thing too is if your business does not want to participate in the event section or the live music section, you can just turn that off. And if we hit save, that all disappears from your website. So disappears from the menu and also on the footer, and the sections on the website that are live music or event related also disappear. If you do have hard links for calls to action that do say live music, of course you'd have to change that here, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. All right. Let's put that back on though, so we can do the full demo. And let's see. So we've done color scheme, calls to action. Here is where you can choose to upload a video. You can do two different videos. The first video would show up on the home page here, and let's actually put that in. So we'll do show video, yes. Show video controls for audio and full screen. That's up to you. We'll do that without it for now. So we'll hit save here. And we'll hit refresh, and you'll notice that a video should start playing. All right, so here you can't pause it, you can't turn the volume up, you can't do anything, and that is because we have the controls off. So if I turn that on, hit save, We do another refresh. Then you can see here it's buffering. I can hit pause. I can turn sound on. I can do full screen and so forth. So usually my personal opinion is to not have those, but that's entirely up to you. Okay, the second video that you can put in is something that would be included with the text message. So if I add a shorter video and if I text someone something, text a link of this website to somebody, it would actually show that video in the text message without having them to open it up. So it's a cool option. Not necessary, but it's a cool option if you have the video content. All right, moving down to social. Here's where you're going to put in all your social links that are applicable to your business. The most important one is the Google My Business URL or Google Business Profile URL. And so you go ahead and fill those out. Always pay attention to the notes here. So the Twitter has to be the @ABC Company, but not the full link, just your username. All right. So now we're going to go into hours. So here we can choose that we are open, let's say, and this is military time, but we can say that we're open at 8 o'clock and we close at, let's say we close at 2100. And if I hit save here and I refresh the screen, if I go to contact, we'll show that Monday is 8 to 9. And this is showing the current date. Today is Tuesday. So we can go in and we'll do Tuesday. We'll do the same thing. 8 to 2100. Hit save. And refresh. There we go. All right. So the hour is pretty self-explainable. All the way down to Sunday. And here is a MailChimp thing. So let me describe how this works. So we usually prefer our clients to use MailChimp, and we can help you get that set up. But essentially, you'll have this newsletter section so people can sign up for the newsletter. And in addition, you can have a pop-up window that'll appear here, and we'll get to that in a second. But by default, we have that as a joiner email list. So anyways, you can change how that lays out or what the description is. Maybe you send them daily or monthly or just on random occasion. You can itemize that all here. All right, so let's go down. Pop-up window. All right, so like I said, by default, the pop-up is receiver emails, and it would link people to sign up for the email. You can have this be something like, hey, we are closed today, and you can have a pop-up immediately. So let's give it a try. We'll have a pop-up in 2 seconds, and we can say closed today. Sorry for the last minute. I'm not gonna, but you get the idea. And this would be the link, hours maybe, the link title. And we can send someone to a particular part of the website. So we can take them down to the contact section. So it'd be like so. We'd have it, we can choose whether when they click on the link, it opens up in the same tab or a new tab. We'll do same tab. And this is where you can exclude a page from having the pop-up. By default, it's excluded on the contact page. And that is the ID. If you look here, the home page is ID 1. The About Us is ID 16, so on and so forth. Contact is ID 6. So we have the ID 6 here. And so when someone's on the contact page, at this setting, the pop-up won't happen. Here, we can choose the color of the pop-up. Since it's a closed thing, we're going to do danger red. And then let's refresh here. And since we're logged in, we do have this border here, and that kind of hides our little pop-up window. But normally for a regular user, they would not see this border here. And we'd see close today, the message, and they'd have a link for hours. And like I said, we can reset this all back to what it was by doing this little set to default, which is really handy if you have kind of a one-off thing. And let's see, we will do green. Hit save. And once we refresh, 20 seconds, that window will pop up. All right. So let's see, pop-up window settings. We've kind of gone through this before. It is important to have some kind of website tracking. Google Analytics is the one we prefer using. We can help you with that setup, or you can figure it out on your own. Either way, just let us know. Private. Here we can add some notes. This may or may not be necessary, but all pages you can have some notes that only you can see when you're logged in. And Google Sitemap. This is kind of more an advanced thing, but this is basically speaking to Google saying, yes, we want this page to be indexed on Google, homepage, of course. And then priority. 1 is the most important to 0.1 being less important. So homepage is very important depending on your business and whether you have weekly events or a lot of bands coming through. You would adjust this to be at the right interval. So I would suggest maybe monthly, weekly, or daily, depending on how you guys operate. And that's it. Well, almost it. The last thing here is the meta. And this is where you can add some advanced inserts if you wanted to add like some kind of meta code. And then here's where you can change the page title. The normal recipe for your website is the long title and then the business name here. So if I wanted to make that totally change the recipe, so for the home page, it would just be, the best restaurant, spelled wrong, best restaurant in Salt Lake City. All right, so if I hit save here, that is going to change just to that title. If I remove this and I go back to the document, we've got the long title here. I can do this, best restaurant in Salt Lake City, hit save and hit refresh. And it's going to do the best restaurant in Salt Lake City, and then it's going to have the restaurant demo, the name of your business afterwards. It appears here on the top, and it also appears down here. And we can see that it says change summary. Let's go through here, change summary. You can say burgers and fries. Hit save. Burgers and fries. All right. What I want to do next, since we kind of go over on the home page, let's go back to our internal page again. And we'll see that when we're here, we can do Website Manager where we just were, and we can go to To-Dos. This is a great place to start when you're building out your website. Click on To-Dos. This is going to tell us what needs to be done on all the pages. So on the home page, we need to add a photo and maybe a description. So I can just click here. And it takes us to the home page. Let's add the photo. So again, we go to photos. Let's see what we got here. We'll do images, call this a hero, and we can either right click and upload, or we can click here for an upload. What picture will we use? Let's just use this band photo just for the fun of it. All right, so hit save. And if I refresh here, that photo appears until the video loads, by the way, which you saw for a quick second. And if I go back to our to-do list, the description, that happens right here. And you can just do a brief description of your restaurant. I'm just going to put some stuff in here just for the fun of it. And then we refresh our screen, and now our description is gone. So now we'd move on to the About Us page. Click on that. So here I have some gibberish text that we need to change. So you'd go in here and write about your business, change the summary, change the long title, and of course add a photo. So once you go through all these, then you'll be all set with the basics here. And let's move on to the menu. So this is your menu section, as you can see, and we do have to go in and we do have to change in the document tab the title. We can keep it as is, and then the long title. So let's actually look at this page here. So we can see change long title, we serve hamburgers and fries, and then change summary, right? So let's go through here and we can change all that to whatever we want it to be. We serve fries and hamburgers. Best burgers in Salt Lake City. Hit save. And here we'll, blah, blah, blah. Hit save. Hit refresh over here. Best burgers in Salt Lake City. All right. So now we see our tabs. And again, not everyone is going to do dinner, lunch, breakfast, and so on and so forth. So we'll have this set up to work out for your restaurant. But let's assume that you're doing dinner, lunch, breakfast. Let's add a menu here. So you'll see when you're logged in, you have these quick links down below. We'll go to the menu, and we're going to do a new menu item. Since we did speak about having burgers, let's put that in there. So let's just call it a cheeseburger, or let's do burger, right? So we're going to do template variables. We're going to figure out which category this is. So this is going to be main burger, meal availability. So we can have this be all open hours, after hours, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'll call this dinner and lunch. We'll hit save. Oh, it's asking for a price. So let's say that's $10. Description, quarter pound burger. Now here we can say, we can choose any kind of options here. Maybe we can do vegetarian upon request, and they can get a vegan or let's see, vegan upon request as well. All right, spice level. We can just leave that blank. It's a popular item. We'll say yes. Now here we can add the photo. So let's go to images, and we'll do menu and upload. All right, so we'll do cheeseburger. We're going to select that. Now here you can do add-ons. So for example, let's say add on cheese, it'll be an extra $1. Add on 2 bacon, extra $4. So hit save. Once it's saved, we always want to view our work, so we're going to hit view. There we go. It's a new item. It's a favorite. $10, quarter pound burger. Tells you the additional options, and we see the photo. What's also cool about that is this is now appearing in our menu under lunch. So if we do dinner, it's going to be there. Lunch is going to be there. Breakfast, it's not. If I go here, and for some reason we did breakfast burgers, or we just said it's available all open hours, we can take these guys off and hit save. If we go back to here and we click on breakfast, it's going to be there as well. All right. Yeah, the new part. Let's talk about that. So when we publish this or hit saved, it published it on this date. Right now it's May 23rd, 2023. Now, if I change this to 2021 and hit save, that new is going to go away. So we're going to hit refresh, and that new is no longer there. So kind of a good rule is the first one you do, you kind of backdate it because you're putting in a menu that's been around. So none of these things are going to be new, right? And so if I go to duplicate here, then we can call it something else. We can call it a BLT, right? And we'll hit save. And we're going to go to the template variables. We're going to change this to dinner only. And this is going to be $12 with bacon, lettuce, and tomato. So the add-ons here, maybe we remove this guy. So hit save. We're going to refresh. Go right to the menu here. Let's get a different view. All right, so we have the burger for lunch, and if we go to dinner, we've got the BLT and the burger. They're both marked as popular, but they're not showing new. Now, if I return to the menu here, I can see all the menu items that we've entered and the date that we've entered them. And we can duplicate, view, edit, unpublish. And so let's say, for example, we're not doing the BLT right now. I just did unpublish, and we refresh here. Make sure back in the dinner tab, then that one's gone. What's also cool is you can go in and say, I want this to publish tomorrow. So publish on, this would be, if I hit publish now, and we publish it and save, That's going to show as a new item, right? But now let's say I don't want to publish it and I want it to publish on tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and then I want it to go away on the 25th at 1 o'clock. If I hit save here, this item will not show up on your menu until tomorrow, but then it'll go away. So it's kind of cool if you have a certain item that's going to be available for a week or a month or a season, you can program that to appear and disappear. All right, so going back to the menu, we have these items here. And since I did mark those could be vegetarian or vegan, they now show up in the vegetarian vegan section and popular section and so forth. All right, let's go to events. All right, to add an event, we just click on new event and we title it here. And here on template variables, we choose either a one-time event or we choose the weekly event. And here we choose a start and end time. So we're going to do 6 to 9 Taco Tuesday. Let's add a photo, images, events, upload, and we will do Taco Tuesday. Select, and we hit save. Once it's saved, we want to view our work. Click on View. Here we are. Taco Tuesday. Tuesday, 6 to 9 p.m. And Taco Tuesday tonight. So in our settings, we can have that image appear here or keep that plain. And let's go back to the home page, template variables. And we go to events, and we're going to go to image layout. So let's refresh here. Taco Tuesday tonight. Now it shows the image here. Of course, we're on the event. Let's go back to the home page. Events, Taco Tuesday. Now let's add a one-time event. So we go back to events here. And actually, let's do it this way. Since we're logged into the website, we have these things down here. This could be new band, new event, new show. We can customize these for your business. But I thought there was a new event on here, but there's not. So let's go back to the event page. Weekly events. And we're going to do a new event. And we're going to make this a... So we're going to do a margarita special. This is going to be a one-time event. And let's say we'll do 6 to 9 is fine. I don't have an image for this, but we'll use that band photo again. All right. So here it says one-time event published on date. So what does that mean? That means that whatever date we select here is going to be the date of the event. So we're going to have this be, how about June 1st? We'll hit save. And we'll click View. Margarita Special, Thursday, June 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we'll see it down here. Margarita Special, Thursday, June 1, and Taco Tuesday tonight. Of course, if I change the date to today, and I hit save, and we refresh this page, then of course, Margarita Special tonight. If I drop that time, let's see, go back here and we'll do, let's see, 11:45 to 1 o'clock. If I hit refresh, see, it went from tonight to today because it's an earlier thing. So this is all automatic, these today and tonight bits. And once that event passes, let's say this was scheduled for yesterday, and we hit save. If I refresh here, then that one-time event goes away. And we just have this one now. Okay, so that's the event section. Let's go back to our to-do list here. So again, we go to, go back to our to-do list. Again, that's just the URL/IN. Okay, let's look at what we got so far. So it looks like we have the Margarita Special and Taco Tuesday. They don't have descriptions, so we can add those. I don't know why I did a capital T. Here you could also write different content. I'm just, for space, I hit save here. Let's take a look at it. So that text shows up here. All right, let's refresh this. And the margarita is good to go. All right, so we're noticing here on weekly events, we need to add content and title and summary and photo and description. So let's do that now. So weekly events, we're going to go into the document section, and here we're going to see we have that, let's view this. So this is the event page. So you can see it has this that needs to be changed, this needs to be changed, and this needs to be changed. So let's go through that. If you don't want to write anything about your events, you can just hit delete. The summary, we can say weekly events and specials. Or we can just do events and specials, hit save. Events in Salt Lake City, hit save. And if we refresh here, of course, this is going to say events in Salt Lake City at restaurant demo, weekly events in Salt Lake City, events and specials. All right, let's check our to-do list. So it looks like weekly events, we need to add a photo and description. Let's go back to that. Description, I guess we can copy this. And we'll do events, template variables. And we'll add a photo. Band photo again. All right, and let's refresh this page. All right, so weekly events is cleared up. We just have to add a description for Taco Tuesday. All right, so we're making good progress here. Let's do the same thing for About Us while we're at it. So again, we can type up something here. We'll change the summary. So let's save. And this temporary photo here. All right. So one thing we'll notice if I click on the view section now, it's got the main photo here, plus it has some additional photos. Since they're all the same looking photo, they're going to look like nothing's changing here, but you could essentially have 3 photos on the About Us page. Well, 4 photos rather. All right, so we have the photo part done. Let's check our to-do list here. Okay, we're making great progress. All right, so to add a show, we need to add a band first. And normally we would look to see if that band existed. There's a couple ways we can do that, but since we're starting brand new from scratch, we will just click on a new band because nobody exists in here. And as far as getting your information for bands, we can help you build a form where bands can apply, and you can have all the questions and answers on that form. So when you're actually loading in a band, you don't have to try to find this stuff on your own. But let's just assume someone applied and they're going to be playing at your venue. I'm just going to make up a name here, Boys of Rock. Sorry for not having anything cooler to come to mind, but let's choose our photo. Images, hero, band. Now, to the genre. You'll notice this has a little asterisk, which means it's required. So rock and roll. You can add the band website. You can add the PayPal link. This is not an email, it has to be a link. And same thing with the Venmo. You can add a video. And the way that this works is all the information that you add for the band will copy over to all the shows that that band plays at your venue. So when you add all that information here, that will populate. So if you add a video, you can say show video. And if you want to have the audio controls so people can turn the audio up or do full screen, you can set yes. You'd upload the video for that band here. You can write their credits. Let's move on to the social. Here you would add the social of the band. Instagram and Twitter have to be the @ and not the link. And videos. All right, this one does get a little confusing. So on the YouTube video, there's different ways that YouTube lays out the video. So we basically have to separate the ID of the video from the link. So this kind of elaborates what we're doing here, but let me show you this way. So if I paste in a YouTube link here, turn my volume off. If I paste that link in here, it lays out, and see how that just gets copied. Basically it's watch video equals, and this is the ID of the video. So if we copy this here and we paste that into here, then this video will automatically be playing on the website. The last thing that we can do here is we go to private, and this is where you can have some information about the band. So for example, if you've had the band there before and you know of them and you want to rate them, you can rate them here. This would show that they are the best band. You can put a contact name and cell phone and email address and any other kind of notes you want to put in about the band. Again, this information is only for you guys when you're logged in. Okay, so we're going to hit save and let's take a look. So Boys of Rock, rock and roll. Let's get the band picture. Obviously, there's no upcoming shows. We see the video of the band. Just assume that it is a video of the band. And that's it. All right, so now that the band has been added, now we have to add the show. So we click on New Show here. And here, we're naming the show. More times than not, it's just going to be the name of the band. But if you're having a special event that has multiple bands or whatever the reason is, you can make the title different. But in this instance, we'll just do Boys of Rock. Now, it is important on this one, the publish on is when the show actually is going to take place. So let's say that's going to happen Friday, and the time of the show is going to be 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. All right, template variables. Here we choose the band. There's only one to choose from at the moment. There's an opening band. Sorry, another horrible name. We can choose an event poster if we want. We can choose to highlight the poster. The show. We can set a default for you guys. So if your shows are always 3 hours or 2 hours, that would be the default, but you can go in and override it. So we'll say 3 hours. We could add a Facebook event link. We can put a cost, $10. We can add a ticket link here. So we're going to hit save. And then let's take a look. View. So again, it's important that we double check the time. So Boys of Rock with Girls of Jazz, Friday, May 26, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. $10, show info, venue info. So basically this just gets us down here. We can save the event on Google. It has the Boys of Rock show history and more and venue info. Of course, if I were to add, I'll have to go back to the band here. Yep, Boys of Rock band. And if I add their social, let's just say Boys of Rock, and I hit save. I'll look at this show. You'll see that it has them on Instagram as well here. Another thing to point out is the title of the page shows the date, the name of the show, and the opener. And the website just continues down on a one page type experience. So we can see the next show, right? Boys of Rock, Friday, May 26, $10 at the door. Learn more about Boys of Rock. Now, if I change that show to today, at 9 o'clock and refresh this. Then we will see tonight. $10 at the door. If I were to write about the Boys of Rock, if we had a bio, a cool, excuse my typing skills, cool band from Salt Lake City with 5 members. Of course, there'd be more information than this, but if I refresh, I'll just go to the home page. Go to the home page. Let's see about, there we go. So about Boys of Rock. So this would have a brief description about the band. Let's add one more show. Let's add another band while we're at it. The Monsters. And let's do the very basics for this one. We'll give them a cheeseburger photo. All right. Quick photo, and then we'll move on to adding a show for these guys. So now we'll do this one. Photo coming soon. All right. So now we are going to double check our work. The new band. Let's add a show. New show. And Monsters debut. Choose a date and time. This will be Saturday, and we'll do 9 o'clock again. And we'll choose the band, The Monsters. No opening band. And 3 hours tickets, we'll say $10. And we'll hit save. And let's double check our work. Here we go. The Monsters debut, Jazz, Saturday, May 27th. And we'll see here that if we're on our homepage, it would show all the shows here. But since we are currently on one show, it's not showing the second show here. So to elaborate, if I click on the homepage, and we go down to live music, we're going to see the Boys of Rock, and these are the next up to 10 upcoming shows. Normally, you'd have bios here, so this all kind of lands nicely for you. All right. And that's basically it. I'm just going to show you on the footer here. It has your shows that are coming up, has the events, and your newest items. Now that we've got a couple bands set up, you'll notice that there's a little link down here called internal, and that gets us to that /in page. So we have the website manager, to-dos, band audit, and menu audit. So let's check out the band audit. This shows us all the bands that we have, and it gives us suggestions on what should be changed. So for example, let's say if I click on edit this guy, and I remove the photo, and hit save, and I refresh this, it's going to say error, no band photo. But it's also suggesting, hey, we can improve it by adding content, website, YouTube, so on and so forth. Let's go back to the internal page. We have a menu audit. It's kind of the same thing. This shows you your main items. This kind of goes by section. Shows you the price, the add-ons, and then you can view or edit from here. Of course, since we only have one item here, this is going to be pretty plain looking, but this will get you to the applicable sections once this builds out. Let's go back to the internal page, and let's check out our to-dos, see where we're at. So we are almost getting there. Of course, if you have a big menu, it's going to take you a while to put all of this in. Same thing with shows, but once you really get going, to maintain it, it's really easy.